Hey, we did it. Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of the Full Circle podcast. We are here again on another lovely Friday afternoon, and hopefully we will avoid this being altogether too scuffed as we have a new operator this week, but it's me, T1G, joined by Miles, Shiba, and Taikani. To continue talking some more about MGC. We get some more mrekk Grandmaster Cup action this week that is kind of what's going on in the Osu world right now as we await OWC to start. So we're gonna get into like recaps and stuff in a sec, but I just want give everybody a chance to say hello and how are you all doing this week and how is everyone doing today?
Miles, do you want to
Okay.
start?
I'll go first. Yep, I'm doing great. Just sprinted back from the gym. I got into my apartment literally 1 minute before we started. But yeah, always glad to be here, ready to talk about some MGC. And also, what the heck is that PP record that just got set this morning? That was crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll talk about after I introduce myself. Hi, I'm Shiva. After Takani's also introduced himself. Hi, I'm Shiva. I'm a regular Osu commentator, aspiring to be like a big esports guy. Currently trying to grind the tournaments and yeah, doing my stuff.
Yeah, and I'm Taikani. I'm a commentator. I'm a mapper. Doing both for MGC, which is what I'm here to talk about. So, you good?
All right, so somebody said something about PP records. So real quick before we start talking about the tournament stuff, we will 1700 PP, kind of insane.
I mean, okay. Here's something that I wanted to talk about because Akolibad scores, like, let's make this very clear, are crazy. Do they warrant PP record? Absolutely. And I'm so happy that Akolibad is finally starting to perfect his speed because it's really clear now that he's becoming a lot more consistent with it. But here's like a big thought. Sure, this PP record blows my mind. 1700, dude. I still can't believe it took over a year to go from 1200 to 1300, and it's taken less than a week to go from 1500 to 1700. That's just stupid.
Still no 1400, by the way. No 1400
Still
at all.
1400. Yeah.
And also, the thing that makes me believe that this is like a worthwhile PP record is you have to think back to just a few years ago when you would hidden hard rock this map, get like mid 700, and that would probably be in the top 100 PP scores in the game. Like, this is a map jumping like so many levels, and sure, it may be hitting the most meta skill set right now. That doesn't take away from how impressive it is. Like, this is an absolutely insane score.
Yeah. Is the score insane? Yes, absolutely. Does it warrant PP record? Absolutely. The big question from a bunch of people, which I don't want to comment on because I don't want to downplay Colibet because he's a sick dude and he's playing for OWC in the UK, maybe. So yeah, but the big question is, does it warrant 1700? Does it warrant 1500? Because people are starting to really talk about how Floam speed is starting to get very overweighted, and I want you guys' thoughts on it because it's started to become a take now that Akolibad's starting to really pop off.
Yeah, just buff aim, cowards. Don't
Literally.
need to nerf speed, just
Yeah.
buff aim, and it'll be fine. That's all I care about, because that's my only skill set is consistency aim. Just buff aim.
So real, so real.
Yeah.
Takani relates to that for sure.
I think
it's a beautiful skill set.
if you are just now thinking that flow aim is overweighted, you've been living under a rock for like 6 years. Like, if it takes sidetrack day being DT'd for you to realize this after like freaking glory days, Lionheart, like every other sidetrack day, honesty, like the hard rock era of space streams, you have got to be like I'm not gonna finish the sentence, but it's yeah, I think that you can't really like quantify this in terms of numbers because it's just so ahead of everything else. Like, this is 1700, but like there are maps that can't be passed on DT that are not worth 1100. So like, where do you quantify that, if anything? It's going to take a lot more in-depth discussion that we are not going to go into right now.
Yeah. There's a lot more to it than the simple question of is it weighted right? But yeah, just more people's thoughts. Might as well move on to MGC now. The main reason why we're here.
Yeah, absolutely. So in MGC, we had last week was the quarterfinal round. We had a couple of very, very good matches, and I think we knew going in that we were going to have a couple of very, very good matches. Number one of which had to have been Vaxei versus Intercambing, all the way to tiebreaker in a really ridiculous affair. Guys, I mean, maybe match of the tournament so far. Vaxei's been involved in probably the two of the three best matches in that tournament. In the first round against Nahus going to TB, and then against Intercambing in quarterfinals going to TB again, winning both of those. Just thoughts on this match in general. Very back and forth affair that really looked like it could be anybody's game until the very, very end.
I would say anybody's game it was, because you look at the skill sets won by each player in this matchup, and it kind of goes back and forth. You see HR going to Vaxei a few times. You see Reading going to Intercamping, which is something that I would never expect in this matchup. But then Vaxei winning that hidden one, and then it was really just a slugfest. Like, it didn't really feel like anyone had a definitive advantage on anything apart from maybe Intercamping on the speed in this matchup. But like, it was just a slugfest in the fact that Vaxei won like 2 maps by 50k. That's just like pretty unfortunate for Intercamping, but you know, that just goes to show Vaxei. This is really the tournament player that Vaxei always was. I feel like even though he would beat everyone back in the day, it was never like a 7-0, thinking about like his old matches versus like Bubble Man, where those would always go the distance, and all of his matches here are going the distance once again. Just shows he's more of a fighter than like, say, like a dominator, like I'd say Malashevsky would be.
I mean, I can't lie to you. Like, this started with Intercamping being 3-1 up. I mean, this was like a similar situation to the last match where Vaxei was genuinely forced to push a little bit harder than usual. He did win No Mod 1, which was the first map, which was kind of not really too close, like 120k difference. But I mean, Intercamping did something. 98 hack isn't really that crazy. But after that, he won 3 maps in a row, including Tokyo, which was a breakpoint for Vaxei, and a map that I think most of us definitely expected Vaxei to win. This is like super snappy, like aim control heavy. So I was really surprised to see Intercamping not only beat Vaxei on it, but nearly double his combo. So yeah, Intercamping really like put up a crazy fight. And dude, if you watch the match, bro, that No Mod 2 was wild.
Dude, that score was nuts, man. That score was nuts.
Absolutely fucking wild. Those 20 misses, that was on the last stream, bro. That was on the final stream. Everything else, he was completely shredding. Completely wild,
Yeah.
dude.
That No Mod 2, every time there was a spacing increase, I like jerked. It was so close to the end, and it was so scary to see Intercamping like keep on almost missing, but not quite. There was a couple times where it felt like he was over aiming these streams, under aiming these streams, but he wasn't missing until it didn't matter anymore. It was such a good No Mod 2. And then of course the tiebreaker was the tiebreaker. Super, super good, although I think Vaxei, just off the pure combo alone, just press that advantage all the way through.
There are 2 things we've learned with Vaxei's last 2 matches. Is one, if you become a threat to him, he will work his ass off. And 2, do not fuck around on tiebreaker. He will shred.
Yeah, no, Vaxei's actually just demonic at the types of tiebreakers we've had so far. I mean, the score on RPG in the round of 16, like, what was that? And then this score on Overprotection, like, what was that? And then, like, we'll talk about the match that's to come later, but, like, imagine he gets to play Palace of Melancholia. Like, holy crap, this guy is just a tiebreaker legend.
Yeah. Yeah, it was an insane match, and that we've already talked about the major details, but I was absolutely gassed being able to cast this match, especially with the Bubble Man. Me and Dan absolutely loved this match. It was amazing. I'm sure everyone else really enjoyed it. Super good match. Looking forward to the next matchup from Vaxei, because he doesn't cease to entertain everyone.
Yeah, and I mean, just a shout out Intercamping as well. Like, they played a couple years ago in Yuki Aim, and he went 6-4 then, and then, you know, comes back, matches up with Vaxei again here. And you get the 6-5 all the way to tiebreaker. So getting a little bit closer is Intercamping to the legend Vaxei, to maybe taking him out in one of these 1v1s. But yeah, Vaxei just has that extra gear, able to ratchet it up just that little bit at the end and close it out. But man, that was quite the match. That was a fun one to watch. I think for anybody that may have missed out, like definitely a VOD that's worth going back to.
Oh my god,
to check
please.
out. Yeah,
Please,
it
bro.
was
Please
very,
watch
very
it.
exciting. Shiva doing a little shameless self promo here. But we did have another couple of very close matches. One of which we're going to go into next, which was Flying Tuna versus Nahus. That one was a 6-4 match in shockingly the losers bracket. Both those guys losing the first round. Of course, Nahus going down to Vaxe, and Tuna dropping at the hands of Intercambing. But they come back and play each other in losers bracket. And again, just a very, very competitive, very back and forth. Didn't quite go to that tiebreaker. Ended up at 6-4 in favor of Flying Tuna, who displayed kind of some skill sets that I think we weren't necessarily expecting him to win by winning like on Godspeed DT, for instance. But man, oh man, very, very close competitive match as well.
Let me just say, if you were to look at these maps and you knew what skill sets these maps had, this is one of the weirdest matches you've ever seen. You see multiple times Flying Tuna winning on speed. You see multiple times Flying Tuna winning on high agility maps, and then you see Nahus winning on reading. It looked ridiculous. Aim control, Nahus wins. Hard rank aim control, Nahus wins. Where in theory you would see Flying Tuna. Literally, nearly every single map was reverse expectations, except for probably the last map, which was Suki Yue, no one 6, no one 6, which is just all Flying Tuna. But outside of that, it was just literally reverse maps. It felt like they swapped accounts, literally.
Yeah. Suki Yue is such a goofy map to end off that match.
The scores on that map were like, what the hell? Just across the entire round.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, I'm being told that Nahus was actually playing this round with a hurt tendon as well. But one thing, I know we're not in the OWC episode yet, and I know it's kind of funny. I'm always the one to reference OWC. Just the way these two played in this match, I think is going to be really telling of how strong these two countries are going to be in OWC. And I like to say that Nahus going 0-2 in this tournament is a crime. This guy took Vaxe to tiebreaker.
Flying Tuna. Yeah,
you get Vaxe to Flying Tuna. Like, how less lucky of a bracket can you get if you're Nahus? Like, he played his heart out in both these matches and comes home empty-handed.
It says a lot about his unfortunate luck, but it also says a lot about how fucking stacked this tournament is. Like, I feel like this is unironically one of the most stacked qualifier tournaments we've seen. Of course, it's closed, like, doesn't count because it's invitational, but this is like one of, if not the most, I think the only tournament that you could potentially say is as or more stacked as UKM.
I'd agree.
Yeah, definitely. Like you said, Corsair's Closed is kind of in a league of its own because of the invitational format, but the qualifiers for this one ended up with some pretty incredible players getting through. And you got to feel for Nahus, man. I don't know.
Yeah,
it's just unfortunate.
If that hand injury led to an underperformance on specific maps, things could have changed a lot more. Because it's taken down Flying Tuna. We honestly have no idea. But yeah, it's just an unfortunate situation. Hand injuries are quite common with top players. So sometimes when it ruins tournament players runs, you can't help but feel bad for it. But regardless, it was a great match, and he put up a really good show, even if he had a little bit of a debuff.
Yeah, and also just one quick thing to point out, 4 maps in this match were decided by about 100k or under, and I think 3 of them by like under 50k. So really close stuff. Another VOD definitely worth going back to look at because another slugfest here.
Thanks, Miles, buffing up my resume. My guy, my driller.
Always, bro.
So one thing that's interesting to me about this tournament is, we've talked a lot about all these players who we definitely expected to be here, right? Malashevsky, Vaxe, Zunator, the list goes on and on. But then you have some people who I don't think anyone expected to see make it into the bracket, and definitely a big surprise, and that led to one of our remaining matches was Skrowell, who qualified in. I don't know that anybody expected him to be in the top 60 of this tournament. Qualified in, and then comes into second round here in the first round of the losers bracket and plays a banger of a 6-4 win over Window Life, who is obviously an incredible solo player, really has not yet been super well known for his tournament play. So those two both managed to qualify, and they put on a show as well. I mean, just our next closest match, and the last match that I really want to focus on for a few minutes here, was a very, very closely, again, a bunch of sub 100K. You had like some 40K, 30K maps in this one, really, really close on, some skill sets that maybe Window Life isn't as well known for, but he was able to show up on. But I mean, you look through the scores of this one, 405 to 380. You've got like 420 to 390K. I mean, a lot of really close maps. So this one, kind of a sleeper, I think, a little bit, because it was in losers bracket and it was players that, they're not as big. They're not like the household names compared to the guys in the winners bracket. But this one still ended up being an absolute banger of a match as well.
I would say a lot of people forget about Skrowell because when he was really on his big come up, he ended up suffering from a tourney ban that I think lasted a year. And then after that, a lot of people just forgot about him, but he did improve a lot ever since then. I think through the tourney ban, he was still improving. After the tourney ban, he's been playing in Course Ace Open, looking really strong there. And now coming in here, I think this is a really big statement win that's going to put him on the map for a lot of people. Obviously, taking down Window Life, newcomer to OWC Team USA, it's a pretty big deal. And Skrowell winning across a lot of different skill sets against Window Life. I don't have the MP link up. I'm pulling it up here. It looks like he did win on... Yeah, actually, skill sets going lots of different ways here. You see Skrowell taking Tokyo, which is a fairly gimmicky map, but then losing Magenta Potion, which is usually... I'd say those two are maps that you probably win together. Like, if you win one, you usually win the other. But those two were split, both extremely close affairs. But yeah, just as Aaron said, lots and lots of close maps in this one as well.
I think Magenta Potion was probably the most surprising map out of this entire thing. Literally outside of that, like nearly every single map was stupid close. I think the most one-sided map in this entire game was probably in Hidden 1, which kind of makes sense. This is definitely much more of a scroll leaning map, but outside of that, this entire match was really, really close. It's a shame I never got to see the VOD. I never got to watch the VOD of this match because it seemed like an actual banger, like a genuine banger. This looked really entertaining. Damn. Well, you should go watch the VODs, chat. I'm just telling you now.
Yeah.
Because these matches were crazy.
Yeah, the losers bracket, it's really funny because it produced like 2 of the 3 best matches of the weekend, and then it also produced 2 sweeps. Like Decaton over Korean Malako and Akalabet over Riot were both 6-0, but the other 2 losers brackets were the 6-4s. So definitely those 6-4s both worth checking out because really, really exciting sorts of matches. So that was pretty cool. And then the other 2 matches, of course, in winners bracket. Or 3 matches, in winners bracket. Pretty one-sided as well. Malashevsky 6-2 over MCY4, who I think was pretty proud just to get 2 maps. Zudi over Arnold 6-3. Kind of a weird skill set mismatch where Zudi ended up winning I think at least 1 speed map. And then Henry over Karcher 6-1, who's just Henry's like on a tear, man.
Okay, yeah. I predicted Zudi Arnold and Rizzo MCY. I did not predict Henry to 6-1 Karcher. That was kind of dominant. I was literally talking about last week about how much I envied the casters who's going to be able to cast that matchup, because on paper, come on, you have to think about it. On paper, this is one of the sickest matchups you can get. Insane matchup. Crazy matchup. I was really hoping that this was going to be really close, but no, my boy Henry, my driller, my brother, he just completely shredded it. I don't know how he does it. How does he do it? How does he shred that hard against Karcher, who's actually in really good form right now? I don't get it.
Henry's just
he's just built, man.
He's been on this upward trajectory for quite some time. I mean, dude's really good at speed and tapping, really good at hidden tech, especially his hidden tech is nuts. Because I feel like I'll probably get somebody's gonna come after me if I don't mention that. Really good at a lot of different skill sets. He's just kind of ascended to a really high level. We'll get to it in a sec, but I'm very curious to see how he continues to perform as the pools get harder.
Yeah, shall we move on?
And
move on to next stage then.
Yeah, so with that, we do have several matchups coming this weekend. Of course, we go into semifinals weekend. Losers rounds 2 and 3 as well. We'll get some potential matches going on this week. So we need to do maybe just a little bit of predicting here. We do have, I believe, starting off in losers bracket. MCY4 against Skrowell. The first match in losers is MCY4, of course, a pretty high skill cap player, dropped down at the hands of Malashevsky. Skrowell, as we discussed, beat Window Life. And now we go to semifinals. Pool gets a little bit harder. Haven't seen Skrowell on a pool this difficult, personally. Don't know what to expect of him. MCY4 has been a good performer in late rounds in tournaments like OWC in the past, so I think skill cap pretty well known as being very, very high there for him. So you like to think MCY4 is probably favored, but up for debate there.
I mean, if I was to look at these players' statistics and what I've seen before, Skrowell is definitely very well rounded, and he's very good on hard rock and mechanics, and has some decent levels of control. But when you look back at MCY4, not only overall is he more well rounded, better in that well roundedness. I must say, I wouldn't say he's more flexible. I'd more say like he's just generally stronger overall with his mechanics. And especially the higher skill ceiling, the better he's going to do. And on top of that, the thing is, the skill sets that Skrowell is really good on, MCY4 outshines more. Control and DT in particular are probably two skill sets that I'm expecting MCY to just outshine. I think the only thing that Skrowell has over MCY4 is double time and mechanics. That's what I see. And granted, there are a few maps like that. There's like Normal 2. There's maybe Normal 1, I guess you could see. It's a lot more of a faster paced, like high skill ceiling aim. You could see something like that happen. But I think just overall, especially based on control, I just think MCY4 is gonna take it. But I don't think it's gonna be one sided. I think it's gonna be like 6-3 MCY.
Yeah, I
Feel
think
free to disagree with me. Feel free to disagree. I'd love to know.
Messing with my hair. This match is a nightmare to call. You have two dynamic, all-rounders who are good at a lot of different skill sets on a map pool that is just extremely difficult. I agree with you taking MCY from the get-go because MCY is generally more proven, but Skrowell's got it. I wouldn't write him off. I think we're going to see another one of these extremely tight matches where it's going to be like even maps of the same skill set going to different players, just because of how much overlap there is. And as you said, MCY might look a little bit better in comparison, but like it's a new map pool, and that means a lot more than statistics likes to beg.
No, that's a fair argument. And I know how good Skrowell is on these high SR stuff. He's proven it time and time and again. And you never know, he actually might be able to out skill cap MCY. Honestly, I can't say I know.
It'll be interesting.
I don't know. I can't lie to you. I don't know if please disagree with T1G, please. I'm not as informed. I'm just giving all of my thoughts based on what I got.
I genuinely don't know, but I feel like I feel like MCY4 is just a higher skill cap player. But I mean, we don't know because Skrowell was gone for a while. So
MCY4 fell down around this star rating in Corsairs close. That's where he was knocked out of the tournament. So I think there's a fair argument to make that we are approaching MCY4 skill cap. Not to say that we definitely are, but that Skrowell definitely has a shot at just breaking into MCY4 skill cap wise if it just comes down to that on those shared skill set maps.
This sounds like a debatable topic.
Yeah, we're gonna have to find out. I mean, that one's like first. That's like second match of the week. It's 12 UTC tomorrow. So I mean, just gonna have to watch it play out and see what happens because I really don't know.
Like Miles said, this is literally like a nightmare to call. It really is.
It's impossible.
Like we're not really too sure of MCY's skill cap, and Skrowell hasn't really proven himself enough for us to really have a definitive answer yet. I think that's the TLDR of our thoughts on this matchup. Is that it's going to be hard to call. I think some of us are leaning more towards MCY than Skrowell, but people are definitely saying that Skrowell is definitely a big valid threat. So let's just leave it at that. Anything can really happen. I'm still going to predict MCY, but I'm not throwing Skrowell under the bus. I still think he's going to put up a good fight.
Yeah. And now, speaking of good fights, next match is like the match of the week in losers bracket. It's Intercambing versus Akalabed. So we're gonna have a few minutes on this one, and I'm gonna disappear for a quick second to adjust my camera while we talk about this one because it's gonna be insane.
Whoa, wait. Did T1G say this is the biggest match of the weekend?
He said in losers.
In the losers. Very specifically in the losers.
My bad. I didn't hear that far. My bad. My ears are trolling. Okay, yeah. Losers bracket. Yes, this is the biggest matchup. I can agree with that. Yeah. My bad.
Yep. Another really tough match to call because Akolibed, it's weird. I still don't know what to think of Akolibed in tournaments because like you'll see him go into a match, just absolutely pop the fuck off. Like FC every single mechanics map, not really that strong on like reading and not really that strong on tech either. But like other skill sets, that guy is super dangerous. But I don't know how to say this. He's just got a really bad case of the shit misses other times. Like when he's on a good day, it's really tough to stop him. But when he's on a bad day, he'll just miss randomly. And I think that's really going to determine the outcome of this match. I think intercamping with how he has been playing recently, I think this is the best form we've ever seen out of intercamping during this tournament so far, taking Vaxay to tiebreaker and just getting to this point looking overall extremely solid. I think a lot of it is going to depend on the mechanics because they have a lot of overlap on those skills. I would say like the speed could be a huge point of contention. Both players are very good at that, as well as the aim. But then I think on skill sets like tech and the gimmick, it's going to go squarely in favor of intercamping, and that's going to have to be target banned. So I think intercamping is going to have a lot more of the pool to play with than a Kolobed. But then at the same time, that guy on a good day, oh boy, we're just going to have to wait and see. You just got to have to roll the dice. What a Kolobed are we getting for this matchup?
I mean, it is dependent on form, and if we're looking at the previous match between Kolobed and Raya, the guy was so crazy he literally chatted shit in smoke. So, I mean, the guy really is on a huge confidence thing. Okay, look, it might people can deem it as toxic, and honestly, I kind of agree. But his confidence is warranted. Let's make that very clear. All right, his confidence is very warranted. He's literally been setting the best scores ever seen. He is literally the highlight of one of the best weeks Osu has ever seen ever. So he's got a reason to be confident. He's got a reason to be in insane momentum. But so does intercamping. So the question is Kolibed's raw skill enough to outshine intercamping's well-roundedness and consistency? I think that's the ultimate question here.
It's an interesting one, right? Because Kolibed is the better player in terms of skill cap.
Yeah, far and away.
And I don't really think there's a way to argue that. But I think intercamping is the better tournament player. Based on what we know of him and what we've seen him, we have a lot of like history of intercamping as being an incredibly strong tournament player, whereas a Kolobed that's kind of lacking. Definitely don't have the same degree of knowledge of what he's capable of in a tournament on a consistent basis. I just think like this one, I want to see what the pick ban strategy ends up being like, because that's going to be really important considering the way their skill sets line up. And after that, it's just like who performs better on the maps where they're they kind of share.
That's what I was saying. I think a Kolobed is definitely going to do some kind of gimmick or slider tech ban, because that's a skill set that intercamping is very good at, and that's a skill set that a Kolobed not really looking too good on. I think on anything other than tech and reading, a Kolobed has a shot of winning, but those are going to be target bans for him. Intercamping, I think, has more of the pool to play with in terms of a pick ban, but gonna have to see.
Yeah, and another one thing that also makes it stupid hard to call is that Kolibed is known before in the past in previous tournaments to have literally just whipped out a pick out of nowhere that no one sees coming and just pop off on it. We've seen it before. Courses closed. Tournaments beforehand in the past. We've seen him just literally whip out a pick and we're like, what the fuck? What is he cooking? And then he cooks. He literally chefs. Michelin star. Bro.
Yeah, I'm saying this. He's gonna pick Nomad 4 and get fucking 500k on that ass Nomad 4. I know that Nomad 4 is ass because I pulled it in close. High star tech maps suck. They suck. Are impossible to play.
It's hard to find good. It's hard to find good ones at this star rating, and it's a funny map, so you know it's going to be a bit wild. Also, do feel the need to mention, because he posted it on Twitter, but like a Kolobed tweeted that he got hit by a car today. Does anybody have details on this? There's literally a tweet. He said, "Got hit by a car. Friday the 13th is going great. I'm fine, but my arm hurts." I don't know the specifics. I'm gonna post this in Twitch chat. I'm gonna post this in Twitch
God
chat.
had to nerf him. God decided he had to nerf him.
Yeah.
All this shit.
You're having the greatest pop-off week in the history of Osu. Let's get you hit by a car.
That is fucked, man.
Yeah, so I'm curious I'm curious about the details of this, because I mean, who knows if he's even like what level he's gonna be able to play at, if that's assuming this is legit, because why would you lie about getting hit by a car? That would be messed up.
That's fucking hilarious, dude. Yeah, Kolibed's a great player, but he got hit by a car today. Like,
well, he has like AR like 10 point whatever reflexes, but he still gets hit by a car. Come on, man. What are you
Good
doing?
lord.
You
Well,
play
it's
300 BPM, but you can't not get hit
Okay,
by a car.
listen. Maybe he was rewatching his replay of Sidetrack Day while crossing a road, and a car was like, "What the fuck is he doing?" And
He
then
was
just like slowly,
sidetracked.
he
Oh
got
my gosh.
sidetracked. Yo,
right, I'm
I
Yeah,
really
we're
hope
good.
Makoli Bet is okay, man. You're
Yeah,
having
yeah,
too good of
yeah,
a
yeah, yeah.
week for like this shit to happen. Like,
Listen, we're laughing at this, but like, if he is actually unironically
he's
injured, that
alright.
really
I don't
fucking
know.
sucks. And I hope he's
Yeah.
alright. Yeah.
yeah, prayers
Um,
up for the guy.
But yeah, so worry about that. Not sure, and I don't know. Match is just going to be a banger. If you had to pick, like forced into it, you pick
Intercamming 6-3.
intercamping, right? Like I think you pick intercamping. I think you do. All right. Only one match remaining here in the first round of losers for this weekend. So those who are astute in math will notice that only makes 3. We unfortunately did have a forfeit. Karcher had to forfeit his match against Decaton, so Decaton will move on. But he will be facing the winner of our last match of this round of losers discussions, which is Arnold versus Tuna. And man, what a weird matchup skill set wise, because like these guys just don't play any of the same stuff at all. I like Arnold plays like speed and like kind of some like hidden gimmick and reading stuff, and then Tuna plays like tech and aim control. So it's just diametrically opposed skill sets, which makes it really hard to try to predict this sort of match.
Personally, I kind of disagree. I think Tuna is a lot more shot for taking this just purely matchup wise. I think okay. It entirely depends on. I haven't looked at the pool. Let me just make that clear. I haven't looked at the pool yet. I've literally been busy working. But depending on how heavy these speed maps are, Tuna has shown recently, especially. Dude, did you? If you saw the last match between him and Nahus, he was crazy good on some of these speed maps. So I'm starting to think that Arnold's biggest strengths, which is mostly known as his gimmick reading and speed, are going to start to get outshined by Tuna. Tuna, gimmick and reading, in my eyes, is going to be super hotly contested. Speed, I have no idea. Depends on the maps. Really depends on the maps in my eyes. Outside of that, I think Tuna outshines. Does better in aim, does better in tech, does better in aim control. I just think Tuna is generally more flexible in this, and anything that Arnold could weigh over him, Tuna is still like a huge threat on. In my eyes. Please disagree with me if you think so, but that's what I'm thinking.
I think Arnold's aim, especially like nomad aim, is underrated, and his hidden aim is very, very solid. But hard rock aim, Tuna definitely, and like nomad aim is just contested coin flip.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a lot of the traditional skill sets here. I think Arnold on like raw speed is going to have a big advantage, but then maybe the other types of DTs could be hotly contested. Gimmick. Going to be probably what determines this match.
Yeah.
But then otherwise, It's going to be for Tuna skill sets. It's going to be the classic. I think Tuna tech, Tuna aim control, going to be his picks. And then once the speed and the tech aim control get whittled down, that's when we're really going to get to see some interesting maps, because I think their flex skill sets, like the things that both of them like are pretty good at, but like maybe not first pick worthy at, those are going to be some extremely close maps. Looking especially at like aim maps, looking at probably the Hard Rock pool going to become useful for Tuna late in this match, I think.
For sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh god.
No, go on. I was about to say something, but it's fine.
I heard Taikani, and it was the first time I'd heard him in a couple minutes, so I want to hear what he has to say.
I didn't have anything to expand on. I was agreeing.
Okay, all right, fair enough.
What was I going to say? Yeah, go on,
What were you going to say? I don't know. It's just interesting because I think you get like double speed bans from Tuna, double like gimmicky sort of bans from Arnold, and then like the match gets interesting at like 2-2-3-3. Like once they just pick their maps.
Yeah, I'm looking at these DT maps. I think these are a bit too high BPM for Tuna.
DT3.
Sure.
That DT3
is the Arnold map.
Yeah,
DT3 is like my
banned.
worst nightmare, Aaron. You have to remember it.
That's
bad companies.
That's 100% getting banned.
Bad companies in double time, man.
The question, another question with this pick ban thing is Tuna gonna double ban speed, or is he just gonna ban DT3 and ban something else instead?
I think he bans like Nomad 2 or Nomad 5 in DT3.
Not Nomad
I-
2. That guy is gonna leave Nomad 2 open, I think.
Okay,
That
so
might
maybe
be
like
Nomad-
Nomad.
yeah,
so
I
it's
don't
just like Nomad 5 DT3 then. I don't know.
Yeah, something like that.
Number 2 is easy breezy. This is like fucking what's the map called? Lullaby. This is like Lullaby, bro. This is 100% a map that Tuna can play on. So I'm not
So
doubting that
it's
one.
Nomad 5 DT3.
You
then,
could
probably.
say it's
Yeah.
easy breezy for Tuna.
I.
Man.
So I think what we're getting is that, assuming they win their own maps, Tuna has more other maps and is probably better on the contested stuff, and it's probably Tuna. But I don't want to put words in everybody's mouths.
No, I kind of agree with you. Can't agree with you. Can't lie. I'm leaning more towards Tuna here, but yeah.
It's
That's
either Tuna in tiebreaker or Arnold 6-4. Sorry for interrupting.
I hard disagree on that, Miles.
That's a little close, I feel, honestly.
That's way too close.
I love Arnold to death, but I don't know. I feel like he's really gonna struggle outside DT and like Nomotsu at this high
Mhm.
level.
I
mean-
think Tuna's way too well rounded, bro. And
think
anything that Arnold's good
bigger
at, Tuna can
pool-
fight.
Okay, a bigger pool will inherently favor flying Tuna because of when pools expand, you get more into gimmicky skill sets, more tech maps in the pool. So maybe that's a little bit of overestimation there. Maybe like Tuna 6-3, but I think like you have to remember how good Arnold is at his peak. Like go back to like
know,
Drenched
yeah.
program, like
Yeah,
that
yeah.
guy. When he's firing at all cylinders, there's not many players who can beat Arnold. That's all I'll say.
Yeah, I think like I'm favoring Tuna, but I wouldn't be surprised to see Arnold win. This kind of situation. Some of these matchups are just like that, where it's like they
If
can
he's in
honestly
good
go either
form.
way. Yeah,
If Arnold's in good
Um,
form, he'll go crazy.
yeah. So that gives us then as the two potential matches. I think somewhat consensus: MCY4 versus Intercambing, and then Tuna versus Karcher. Karcher, the only one who's versus Decatur, excuse me. The Karcher Decatur winner, which is Decatur. Tuna versus Decatur, which is really interesting. MCY4 versus Intercambing, which is really interesting. I don't even know where to start with these because those matchups are like, what is happening?
Yeah, it's like crazy player faces crazy player.
Yeah.
More at
Yeah.
11.
Yeah, top 8 in this tournament. Top 8 in this tournament is actually disgusting. Like how good everyone is.
More at 11.
I don't know, skill set wise, MCY4 Intercamming is just like dead even, and then Tuna versus Decatur is also
More dead even.
Dead even? Yeah. Although Tuna versus Decatur is interesting because literally like neither of them plays anything reading or gimmick at all. Like he like gimmick low AR type stuff. So that'll be kind of
No.
interesting,
I
feel
think
like.
no. Tuna definitely plays gimmick stuff.
I mean, he plays
100%
like
gimmick
different.
stuff.
Like he
Not
doesn't
low
play
AR
like
gimmick.
he doesn't play like reading gimmick. He
Yes,
plays like
yes!
he
Suki
plays,
Yue.
like,
He got 250k on
he got
Suki Yue.
250k Suki Yue, bro.
No, Sukiyo is so different though. That's like overlap
That
reading,
map
not low
is,
AR
like,
reading. That's
Still low,
different,
yeah,
bro.
overlap low AR.
You have to
I
practice
get
that map, bro.
250k
Yeah.
on Suki Yue.
Yeah, but did you get 250 attempts on that map? No, it's different. It's
Mhm.
different. That map needs practice, not just reading and control. That's a fucking learning map. That's got 20 million overlap patterns. That's a whole different story.
There's
okay?
nothing to learn on that map.
Standard-
It's not calculus,
standard
dude. You just
gimmick
go
and
in the
reading.
middle of the zigzags. Not miss. You never miss on
No!
the zigzags. Go
I'm
in the
sorry.
fucking middle.
I'm sorry that I simply don't see either Tuna or Decatur doing well on mind mapping Yokes' hidden expert. Like, my bad, bro.
That's
I'm
true.
sorry I
That
don't
is true.
see them
Okay.
doing well on that.
That map.
No, look,
Yokes reading is a
Tuna-
different breed.
Tuna in recent times, especially towards his return from military, has performed really, really well on gimmick and reading. I think COE and Courses Open are one of the best examples of that. He's done really well, and he's also got good decent gimmick scores in MGC. Not Suki Yue, but that's a different fucking map. That's a different thing. All right, you need to actually practice that map to do well late stage.
Mhm.
So I 100% think that Tuna is gonna probably abuse gimmick if Decaden's not gonna do well on that. I can't lie to you. I'm a little
You're
slight
Tuna
bit
pilled.
uninformed. I'm a little uninformed on Decaden, but as far as I'm aware, he's really got on generally aim and hard rock.
This guy loves
Yeah.
flying tuna so much. Get this British fish and chips.
Get me,
Decatur's
get
also
me
like
my
pretty good
bird's
at
eye.
back and stuff too. I don't know. Decatur's
Yeah.
just a good player.
And I feel
Not
like
super good at hidden, but
I can agree with you in that Tuna's really good at like the non-reading gimmick. Like you see that with maps like Tokyo from this week's pool. That's definitely a Tuna map. Although I actually don't remember if he won that. I think it was another one of those extremely close maps. But Yeah, I think another big advantage that we have to list would be intercamping speed over MCY4. That is going to be a free 2 to 3 points for intercamping in that matchup.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Hong Kong speed.
Yeah.
This never has really been
Yeah.
a thing.
We've seen MCY4 pick speed on a rare occasion, but usually it's against players that do even worse on speed. It's
Zudinado.
not a
Zudi.
forte. Yeah,
Zudinado.
I don't want to say it specifically, but yeah.
I mean, bless our soul. Yeah, but yeah. I think I don't know how to feel about this one because intercamping's a lot more strong on mechanics and MCY is a lot stronger on control, just generally from what I see. But like hard rock ability, again evenly matched. Control ability, I think MCY. DT ability, 100% intercamping. But I don't know. I can't put like a full statement on this because as far as I'm aware, this is like really close. I think.
6-3 intercamping, 6-4 intercamping, maybe.
Yeah, I'd say 6-4 intercamping here.
Think so? Okay.
He just gets 2 6-4s this week. 6-4 over Colibet,
Yeah.
6-4 for MCY4. And then I think Tuna, Decaton also, that's like 6-4 tiebreaker type of situation. Those guys would, like, regardless of skill sets, in terms of actual raw skill, they just feel right now really evenly matched, which would be crazy a couple years ago considering where Flying Tuna was. But Decaton's been, generally speaking, playing really well. And I personally don't think Tuna's quite at the level that he was in the past before his enforced break for military.
Here's a question: do you think Decatur at the moment is in good form? Would you say? I know, like on paper, blanket wise, is Decatur? We know Decatur is good, but at the moment, is he in good form?
He's in solid form. He's not at his peak, but he's in solid form, I would say. I mean, he lost 6-3 to MCY4 and then won 6-0 over Korean Moloko, so like that's not a huge amount of data to go on. My opinion was that like I felt that he would take not making OWC as like massive chip on his shoulder and just like be out to prove everybody wrong and be super tryharding for every tournament that he's in right now. But I don't know if that's necessarily going to be the case. I would like to think it is, but I don't know for sure.
Yeah, we honestly. Does anyone have the USA OWC tryouts? Just out of curiosity, I want to look at that later.
Really quick.
Decaton did well enough that he should have been on the team.
He got 6. He got like 6 or
Decaton
5.
should have been on the team, and we'll talk about that in like OWC predictions.
Yeah, we'll talk about.
I
will die on the hill that Decaton should have been on the fucking OWC.
I'm going to play devil's advocate in that argument.
Yeah,
I'm excited for that conversation.
I cannot lie to you, Team I kind of agree. But that's a conversation for another day, another full cycle episode.
Because we still have winners bracket to talk about, but we will definitely that'll be a heated argument to have. But first, we have to talk about the winners bracket matchups for this week in the semifinals. There are, of course, 2 of them. It is the semifinals. It is the top 4 remaining in the winners. And in the interest of saving the best for last, quote unquote, opinions. We're going to start with Zudi versus Henry, which is Henry playing really well, Zudi playing really well, but I think this is a case where Zudi won't win stuff off of her skill set like she did last week, and I personally think this favors Henry.
Yeah, agreed. Nightmare matchup for Zudi. You have Henry who can like genuinely speed abuse Zudi. Like Zudi's been a lot better at taking breakpoints on speed. I have no fucking idea how, but she's always able to take some like 5% lower AC, like DT play, speed play against someone else. But against Henry, I don't know if that's going to work. And then even worse for her, I think Henry is actually like very comparable to her, even on her strong skill set. So just a really tough matchup for her. But like Zudi is just the baseline for tournament consistency these days. So obviously, if she gets her ball rolling on her skill set and she's able to take points on aim and tech, definitely going to be a really close match, but I just think Henry has a lot more to draw from in this map pool.
Go on, Timuji.
I wasn't me.
Sorry.
That was Ty Kenny.
It was Ty Kenny.
I was looking at stats. All I heard was an All right, leave me alone.
I do think it is important to note Henry was playing dominant the last time these two played on 1v1, 6-2. They overall Zudia has a 2-1 set record over Henry in 1v1, I think, but the way that Henry played last time they played is such a show of dominance in how he's performing on these skill cap pools and how he's adapted to how Zudi plays. She cannot take those breakpoints on him, as has been stated. It is just so hard to fight Henry in this state. And Henry's playing the best he's ever been. I really don't see a world where Zudi takes this match.
I have to agree. I can't lie to you. I have to agree. I think legitimately the only thing I see Zudi winning on is aim. Tech,
Yeah.
Henry shreds. Everything else, Henry either shreds or puts up a fight in. I mean, what else is there anything they can fight?
She
Hard
wins
rock?
Hard Rock.
Precision? Okay, precision.
HR1, HR2. Yeah.
Yeah.
She wins HR1, HR2, maybe HR3.
Yeah, but then
Dude.
Henry can just ban that. That's 2 maps gone
Yeah.
already. Man,
just have
Zudi,
to say-
it's Joga for Zudi.
I always bet against Zudi. Every single tournament I bet
And you're
against
always
Zudi.
wrong.
And she always fucking
And you're always
wins.
wrong.
She is gonna find a way to win this match
Yeah.
because I'm saying she's not gonna win this match. It's just the way it works these days. So you know what? She's gonna take a break point on DT3 and all hell is gonna break loose. She's gonna win the entire hidden pool. And I don't know. It's just you're betting on a match of like maybe the 4th best tourney player right now, and then like the 5th best tourney player right now.
Also, interesting thing to note, like we talk about Henry being way better at tapping, but do you guys know who's number 1 on this Nomad 2?
Wait,
It's
no,
Sudinator.
hold on.
Sudinator's rank 1.
Once
on this
again,
Nomad 2.
Once
It was
again,
me all
it's easy
along.
breezy. It's not.
Yeah.
It's not stamina heavy. Okay. So
It is 2 minutes. Even then, Zudi has really good scores on long Nomad 2s. It's a PPM difference more than anything.
do you know who got number 1 and number 2 for the qualifiers?
Zudinator probably.
No, Henry, dumbass.
Okay.
I mean, honestly, you
guessed.
couldn't tell from the way you said that which way you were going, so.
Oh, well, I mean, I will say Henry was going to win. I thought that was obvious, but I guess I ruined my dramatic effect. Sorry, guys. I kind of embarrassed myself there. But yeah. Yeah, it's easy breezy. Okay. Maybe they can put up a fight on number 2, but I don't think it's
Oh, yeah.
one-sided. I think it's at most it's going to be really close. If at least Henry's going to win. That's how I see it.
I see a 6-2, 6-3 personally. Just
Ooh.
almost a
Ooh.
repeat of their Corsairs closed.
Ooh. This guy's giving Zudi some bulletin board material, man. Holy shit.
Yeah, no. The more you
Yeesh.
say
Do not
Zudi's
give
gonna
Zudi
lose,
bulletin board
the
material.
more you're gonna win. I'm gonna
get fucked on
with
Twitter.
all
if
of
she
my
wins.
brain, 6-4 to Henry. And now that I say that, Zudi is going to win 6-3.
I'm going to say Henry 6-2.
All right. Well, now that you guys both said that, Zudi's gonna win. Like, sorry, it's just
Yeah,
you
GG, it's
can't-
over.
Like,
We're gonna get counted on Twitter.
Zudi, when people count her out, just does stuff. She's like been a top 4 1v1 player for ages now. There's some reason or other for that. All right. Well, there's one match left.
It's time.
It's time. Match of the week. Match of the tournament. Quite possibly, it's one that everybody's been waiting for since they saw the seeding. Malashevsky number 1 seed, Vaxay number 4 seed, meant that they were going to meet up in the semifinals instead of in the finals, but they were on a collision course no matter what. I am going to go on the hottest take here ever, and I can't believe I'm saying this, but Malashevsky wins this like 6-2.
I was gonna
He's
say the
playing
exact
so
same thing.
much better than Vaxay
Yeah.
in this tournament. It is not even funny. Yes, Vaxay is Vaxay. I will never take that away from him. I have been a Vaxay fanboy in tournaments literally since 2017, but Malashevsky is playing so much better at the moment that it's just not even funny.
You know how people say Vaxay is immediately in a much more advantage just for the fact that he exists and he is
Yeah,
playing
no,
in this
that
tournament?
doesn't happen here.
Malashevsky-
That doesn't happen here.
Malashevsky is the one guy who's like, I beat this guy. Who the fuck is this guy? Vaxay? I'm the GOAT. I'm gonna win. That's literally Malashevsky. Okay, maybe not. He's not an arrogant kind of guy, but
yeah,
like
no.
Malashevsky's the one guy who does not give a fuck about the
Well,
fact that he's going
to-
against Vaxay.
Because mrekk would be the other one if his name wasn't on the tournament.
Host L once again. But yeah, I think Malashevsky's overall just playing a lot better. Vaxay's been put on a tightrope like multiple times here. If Malashevsky takes him to tiebreaker, that's a different story. but that's not going to happen. I think Malashevsky just is way more consistent, way better, and yeah, I think he's just going to win 6-2. I completely agree with you, T1G.
Yeah, I'd like to remind y'all that Vaxe hasn't lost in an official badge tournament yet. He's still technically on his streak. He did lose the show match, but the show match isn't badged. So if we're talking like...
All right, stop. I am so okay. I love Vaxe. I am going to say this. I'm screaming it to the heavens. I am so sick of this. He is on a winning streak narrative. He's played like 5 fucking tournaments in the last 5 years. You can't talk about him being on a streak. He's played on a loaded perennial team. He's played on a loaded USA OWC team.
Mayweather,
He's played on the most loaded USC team there's ever been. The only tournament that he's won that he had to actually do anything for himself was Yuki Aim, and that was 2 years ago. He's played like 4 tournaments in the last 3 or 4 years. It's literally irrelevant that he's on a streak. It's not like he's playing in every single tournament and winning them all. He's playing in like 1 tournament every 2 years and winning them.
Aaron,
okay, Aaron,
who do you like more? Djokovic or Federer?
I grew up a Federer fan.
You did grow up a Federer fan.
I'm a
You have to believe. You have to believe. I believe.
Okay, listen. Is the streak correlating to Vaxe's skill in this tournament and his form? No. Is it going to relate to the epicness and the importance of this match? Yes. Malashevsky is going to be the guy who is going to kick down a pillar, knock Vaxe down to one knee, and he's going to be sent to the losers bracket, and he's going to be against way better players now. You thought Intercamming and Nahus were bad? Think Zudi. Think who else is there? Someone else is there. Think other really good players that are going to be there, right? There are going to be other cracked players that Vax is going to have to go against in losers bracket. He's going to play against so many more players. If we're going to see him in the same form again, where he's going to be forced to tiebreak against Nahus and then into camping, what the fuck is Zudi going to do to him, bro? Like I think Malashevsky is just so much better. And whether or not you see Vaxe's dynasty, yeah, sure, it's huge. He hasn't lost a tournament in nearly 6 fucking years. Yeah, that's crazy. But that doesn't mean he's that cracked. He's kind of already proven that he's fallen off a little bit. Sorry, Vaxe fans. You know, from going from shit stomping everyone who isn't mrekk to going TV against 2 players in a row doesn't say that he's in the best form in the world right now. And I hope I get proven wrong and we go to TV. But
thank you.
But Money Mayweather still got the streak. That's all I'm gonna say.
Statistically, objectively, I don't think he's got it. I think Malashevsky's just gonna.
Yeah, I mean, of course, dude. Like, who can you confidently take against Malashevsky right now? Not including mrekk.
That's it.
You just have to believe.
mrekk is the only person I would ever pick against Malashevsky, and even then, it has to be like an 8.5 star map pool.
You have to believe. I believe in the bacon.
In fairness, there have been a few players this year who have beaten Malashevsky. I think Karcher's probably the most known example who has beaten Malashevsky, but that was probably during his peak form. I don't really know if he's in peak form at the moment, so I can't really say. But yeah, at the very moment, in my mind, the only person I see beating Malashevsky is mrekk, and mrekk is not playing. And if Vaxe still remains in this form, neither will Vaxe. So that's it. That's what I've said this like 20 times.
Okay.
Now.
Now I'm gonna stop trolling for a sec. Yeah, logically, this match definitely goes like 6-2 to Malashevsky. But like, this is one of those matchups, like, it's like a historic matchup where like you don't really take anyone on any skill set into each other because both of these players can FC every map in the pool. Actually, that's probably a lie. This pool is extremely hard. But like,
yeah,
when it comes to skill sets, like, I would say like there's a few definitive advantages. Like, I don't even know if Vaxe is fully derusted his speed. Old Vaxe, I would take on speed over Malish. I would take Malish's reading over Vaxe. But then, like, everything else, it's like, oh, both of these guys are, like, historically good at every single skill set. But Malashevsky just doesn't miss. That's what it is. Malashevsky doesn't miss.
Yep. Takane, I know you've been literally suppressed by me and Aaron and Miles for like the last millennia.
It's apparently BO13, by the way. Dio announced it in the mrekk Discord, but not in the staff Discord, and I had no idea.
Does that make a major difference?
On the sheet. No, it's just we've been talking about all the scores as though they were best of 11 because I had no idea that they were best of 13 now. I
pool
don't
is
think it actually
massive.
changes much. Yeah, this pool is huge. I mean, it makes
Yeah.
sense, but I just had no idea, and it would have been nice to know.
Anyway, before we wrap up this matchup, Takani, do you have anything to say that we haven't said already? Because I want you to speak in this.
Yeah, I've been hearing my family around me fight about Vaxei and Malachevsky for the past 3 hours now. It's I want to believe, I want to hope, but it's definitely Malachevsky favored. That said, little fun fact I pulled up while there was some screaming matches going on. Actually, these two do hold the top 2 spots on the tiebreaker leaderboard, which is very interesting. They are very, very close. Not that, and that's not to say, oh yeah, they're going to tiebreaker and it's going to be the closest thing you ever see. But if they went to tiebreaker, it could be very, very down to the wire. It'd be interesting. But I do think overall, it's a Malachevsky dominance. He's just been playing so damn well.
Yeah, I think like genuinely Vaxei is probably too good to have it be super one-sided.
Oh yeah.
I
it's
mean,
not-
I think in actuality, if it does end up being something that isn't like a TB or a 7-5, it ends up being it's still like a 7-4 at worst. I think that's like the most one-sided I would expect this to be. But yeah, pretty hard not to favor Mr. Malachevsky here. And
I
yeah,
th-
sorry,
yeah.
I wish we had known it's best of 13. So, you know, add one number like to all the scores we've talked about previously from
Yeah.
this whole episode where we've been talking about
Imagine
so long.
Vax winning a 3rd tiebreaker in a row.
Against
would
be
Malachevsky,
that
no
would
less.
be-
On Palace
that-
of Melancholia. Jeez.
All-time shit
yeah.
if Vaxei can win Palace
This-
against Malachevsky.
Yeah,
Who
if he
wrote
was to
that
win this
script?
match, that is literally going to be the best script Osu has ever made, like literally ever. It's going to be gaga huge, and that will be like the most probably the most booming Twitter clip and or YouTube clip and or Reddit post, whatever the fuck, I don't know. But that would be like super huge. But sorry, dog. Not happening, dog. I'm just saying, dog. Whistle's too good. 7-3, 7-3. That's my vote. That's my call.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, that is all of the matches. Before we move on to our closing segment, any final thoughts on semifinals weekend and our expectations for it?
Wait, sorry, can you repeat that? My mind just completely blanked. What did you say?
Just any final thoughts on semifinals weekend expectations, predictions, thoughts?
Okay, my thoughts is that I think these matchups outside of like outside of like some of the potentials we talked about earlier, they're definitely not going to be as contested and as close as last week's. I'm expecting yeah, I mean, I want to say the winner side matches, maybe unless Vaxia like pops off, I don't see any other matches that are quite close outside of like Tuna to Kaden, which is a potential, which might not even happen. MCY4 Skrowell as well could be close, but outside of that, like not many matches are going to be super close in my eyes. I do hope they are. Trust me, what I think is not what I hope, bro. I hope this shit bangs, but objectively, I don't think it's going to be as hype it last week, but there's definitely going to be some good matches that I'm looking forward to seeing for sure. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Let me tell you, Shiba, I think you're going to be in good hands because we're reaching the level of star rating for map pools where only maybe 3 players are going to be able to FC anything in this map pool, which means we're going to be seeing a lot of like 420k versus like 370k. So even if the score may be like leaning directly towards one person, I think we're going to see a lot of close maps just because it's really hard, especially in losers. Losers bracket, I've been saying it's underrated for years. Losers bracket in semis at this star rating, it goes crazy. Everything's going to be close.
Yeah, I already see multiple maps that are bonkers, like Trust Nothing But Love No Mod 1, Mind Mapping Yokes No Mod 6, Desert Theater Hidden 1, Vanity Clock Hidden 2. What the fuck? Powers of Melancholia TV is an obvious one. So yeah, I like this pool. I'm looking forward to this pool. Yeah.
All
Any
right.
other thoughts, Team and G, Takani?
Nah, I'm just looking forward to it. I think it's gonna be fun.
Fun.
So on that note, we talked a bunch about Skrowell versus who is the matchup against MCY4 as well as his matchup last week against Window Life. And a lot of people aren't super familiar with the guy. And fortunately for us, we did manage to spend a few minutes yesterday talking to him, doing a little interview with the man, the myth, the legend himself. So we are going to play that out and maybe learn a little bit about Skrowell and his thoughts. So we're going to roll that interview right now.
All right. Hello, Skrowell. How are you today? Would you kindly introduce yourself for us?
Uh, Hi everyone. I'm uh, a bit nervous for this kind of things. I'll try my best. That's all.
You're fine. So, what got you into tournaments and when did you start playing in them?
In the start of 2021, I got an invite from Vita Kinatori, if you know him, to 3WC tryouts, and I almost got a place in Russian roster. So after this, I got a good motivation to improve my tournament skill. And actually, I always wanted to be a player who can fill every map. And I lost my interest farm PP, so I just started practicing tourneys. That's all.
Well, actually, a follow-up to that is, how did you manage between farming solo, like farming PP, and going and playing tournaments with the team? Did you prioritize solo farming more, or did you enjoy tournaments more?
Um, I played farm ups like not much. I just uh, tried some maps like once or twice, and if I exceeded, I were happy and I got PP. And if not, I just were switching them up. And I practiced. Okay, let me find the word I forgot.
You're fine. Take your time.
Uh, Specifically tournament map. Yeah, I was practicing it. And as I said, I didn't farm much.
So, what were your thoughts going into mrekk Grandmaster Cups during qualifiers, or at least when you registered? Were you expecting to qualify?
No, I didn't. I just wanted to get at least 32 place in qualifiers because, as I saw, there's a lot of really good players, like White Cat, Badu, or someone other who didn't qualify. Well, I played qualifiers pretty good for me and made some decent scores, like DT1. I got 900k. So it
Yeah, you
got
did really
me through
well.
the qualifiers.
Yeah, you
Uh,
did really good in qualifiers. Like, congratulations for qualifying. And
yeah,
you
thank you.
placed 12, I
And to be
believe.
honest, I was really scared when I found out that I passed because it's really stressful to play matches on big tournament. Yeah, this is one of my first big tournaments. I didn't even play OWC, or I played on the course.
Well, now that you're in semis, how does that feel? You must be pretty excited, even though you're in the losers bracket. I mean, making it to semis is definitely a really big thing. Even if you did say that big tournaments stressed you out a little bit. I'm sure being in semis is definitely a huge accomplishment.
Can you repeat?
So now that because of you didn't think you were gonna qualify, you ended up qualifying in, sorry, not 12th, 11th, and you did say that big tournaments stressed you out. How does it feel being in semifinals?
Uh, um, I'm happy with it, but to be fair, to get to the semifinals, I just played 2 matches and won only one of them. So I think I need to win more matches to proud of it.
So, because of that, so you lost your round of 16 match and then you won quarterfinals. You knocked out Window Life last week. How did you feel going into those two matches? Like, were you super nervous because it was a 1v1 or you've known these names?
Yeah, I was really nervous, especially because uh, mm, at first match it was Kacher. He's really good player, as everyone knows, and I was happy with that. I got 3 points from him, but looking back, I could probably win it because there were really close maps that I lost. As I remember, 4 maps that he won were pretty close. And to say about match against Window Life, I was definitely in the mood to win it, but I did it with great difficulty. To be fair, Window Life played really well. I didn't expect that he that good on tournaments.
Yeah, absolutely. So, how do you prepare for matches? Do you do you practice a lot during the week or do you warm up for a specific amount of time before matches?
Um, last month, I, in last month, I started studying in college, and now I don't have much time to practice map pools, and I do it only for big tournaments like this. But anyway, I sometimes really lazy and I have no energy for it. But I try to play map pool at least once and just mm, play a lot in at the weekends. And I always um, start the game in. Okay, give me can 2 hours before the match. In 2 hours before the match. Yeah.
Wow, you warm up for 2 hours?
Yeah.
What? Wait, that's so long. Hold on. Maybe that's just me. Wow, 2 hours. That's so long.
This is only for big tournaments. Um sometimes I just start the game right before the match.
But if, like for super big tournaments that you want to prepare for, you warm up for 2 hours and then other um like other tournaments you just kind of oh, I'll go in, play my maps. Is that the sort of mindset you have?
Yeah, like recently I played a match in Russian Osu Cup. It means Russian speaking. And I was playing against Lucrece, and uh, I started the game like in 20 minutes before the match, but there was a really difficult map pool. But I just lazy, I think. I don't know. And this tournament is not really important, yeah. So it depends of how tournament is big, probably.
Yeah, that's fair. And speaking of big tournaments, you made it onto the Russian OWC team. First of all, congratulations on that.
Yeah,
Really
thank you.
excited to see you there. So, what are your thoughts about OWC? This is your first one, right?
Yeah, this is first time I play OWC.
Are you
So
nervous?
I don't know actually if I will have nerfs like in MGC. It's gonna be not that bad, I think. So it's pretty random. I hope I'll do a really decent game in OWC.
Are there
And
any other tournaments that you're preparing for other than OWC? Any other like big tournaments or tournaments that you're playing in right now?
can you repeat, please?
Are there any other big tournaments or tournaments that you're playing right now other than OWC that you want to like finish out or are you doing really well in?
Um, I only have one team tourney. This is Suiji Cup. I have really good team that was randomly generated, and I want to get a good place in final stage.
Yeah, you're really the
So
strong
that's
player
all,
and
actually.
oh, go ahead, go ahead.
Also, I have Russian also Cup, as I said, that I played against Lucrece, and I have now I have stage. Let me see, semifinals. So it's probably this tourney gonna end like when OWC starts.
And so like once
Um,
OWC starts, that's like your entire focus?
yeah.
That's fair, that's fair. Well, thank you so much for joining us on this interview. Um, I really, really appreciate it. And I'm so glad that we got to interview you. Good luck in OWC and good luck to the rest of your team. I really hope you guys make it far.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Thank you for this
Yeah, of
interview.
course.
I thank you that you was really tolerated with my stupid tops, I
No,
think.
no, 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 no. Don't even worry about don't call yourself that. No, 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 no. Don't say that. I understand if your English or if you don't consider your English strong enough, it's okay. Don't call yourself stupid. That's so bad. But anyways, thank you so much, Skrowell, for joining us on Full Circle. And for anyone that's listening to this, please follow him on Twitter, follow his Twitch, and check him out on Osu.
Yeah. Thank you. It was good experience.
All right, bye bye.